Are we ready for Astro Chat Live, you guys? Because I am. Are we ready? Okay, T says, feels like I'm going to snap soon. Oh, that escalated. Empress Jamuna is here. So good to see you again, my love. She says, hey, beautiful, creative, magical sister goddesses. We have so much to talk about. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Kiana says, you're so pretty. Girl. Thank you. I appreciate it so much. So good seeing everyone. I saw Eric and Mel are here. Hold on. Pop, 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 pop. That's so funny. Philly was amazing. I know. I miss you guys too much. Philly was amazing. I went and I worked and I met up with friends and I saw family and it was really good. I feel like we have to shuffle a card. Hold on. Let's shuffle some cards to get this party started. Let's see what we have here. Oh my God, I knew that was going to come out. Advice. All right, you guys, let me go ahead and start this off by saying this. Welcome to Astro Chat Live. For those of you guys that don't know, I'm Jess of Bahati Life. I'm an astrologer. I'm an intuitive. I'm a tarot reader. I spent most of my life studying astrology happily. And I will probably spend the rest of my life studying astrology. There's always more into the week ahead. I personally believe that if you know how to work with these energies, what's going on in the planets, then you can make them work for you, not against. Challenge is, and you know what it is that you're working with, you can make that challenge your bitch, so to speak. So that's pretty much what Astro Chat is all about. That's what you can gain from this. I like to take the first few minutes to say, hey, everyone, because I feel like I haven't talked to you guys in a minute. I feel like it's been forever since I talked to you guys. I was in Philly. I was, doing work there and all the stuff. I'm sure you guys are saying that it's lagging and glitchy and stuff like that. So sometimes Wi-Fi gets a little wonky and weird. Hold on. And then for those of you guys that don't know, I gotta put my phone on, do not disturb. If the Wi-Fi connection gets glitchy, which it can do sometimes, just realize that you can always catch the live afterwards. Sometimes when we have a large audience, like when there's a lot streaming, a lot of things happen, like it can buffer. I've noticed that. So if you're noticing some buffering or some glitches and stuff like that, just be patient with the Wi-Fi. I do have the best Wi-Fi that we can get here, so it's as good as it gets. And the other thing is that we have Mel and Eric here doing moderating it. So you guys feel free to curse because I curse all the time. I'm constantly dropping the F-bomb. That's my favorite word, actually. I feel like it gets my throat chakra very much activated. But if you are rude, disrespectful, if you send me hate messages or threaten to take my life, either during the Astro Live chat July B2 says, fuck bucket. See, there we go. And YouTube tried to block it, but you guys go ahead, Mel, someone go ahead and allow that perfectly. So those things we're allowed to do. I personally, I love curse words, but yeah, but as far as negative energies or bad vibes, that stuff will get blocked. Mel and Eric are trained and know what to do when it comes to that. Also, the same thing happens with my DMs. I've been getting a lot of death threats lately. Go fuck yourself to those of you guys that have been sending those death threats. Can't stop, won't stop. We're not going to stop just because you threaten my life, okay? So, yeah, outside of that, those are the rules pretty much. Those are pretty much the rules. The other thing, too, that I have to say is, because I'm seeing some super chats, and I appreciate the super chats, because we only have an hour to spend together and talk about everything. If you are going to send a super chat, I really, really appreciate it. Those super chats, they pretty much pump your comment up to the top. But if it's a question, I really want to navigate you guys away from, like steer you away from questions that are specifically just for you, or personal questions, because this time is for everyone. Like, this time is to benefit everyone. I'm about to go live on Instagram. When I go live, do not move over to Instagram. YouTube is my priority, but I just go live on Instagram in order to help people to find their way here. So I'm going to go live in about 6 seconds. So if you see that, don't hop off, okay? And then we're going to go ahead and dive into, I have some cards pulled for us, by the way, because we have so many messages and so many things that we need to share. Go ahead and hit that thumbs up button and that like button. I think it's over here. For me, it's right there on the screen. I'm going to go live on Instagram in 3, 2, 1, blast off. Let's see what we got here. Let me go ahead and disconnect this Wi-Fi connection. Perfect. Okay. Yes. So again, welcome again. This is another week of Astro Chat Live. I'm so excited. I do have the chart pulled up. So if you see me looking down on my iPad, it is because that is where the chart currently is while I am working. I do have some notes. Why isn't this working? I swear, Mercury retrograde doing the most this week. Okay. Yeah. Welcome again to Astro Chat Live. We're live on Instagram, but stay here on YouTube just in case there's anything like there's certain things that it is I don't want to miss. We are going to talk in full detail on this week. There is a lot of wonkadociousness going on in the chart. You guys know that I keep it 100. That means that I'm always going to tell you everything. You guys know I am thorough AF. I don't take shortcuts. I want to give it to you, and I want to give it to you good. So that being said, this is not all a good and easy message. This week is one of those weeks where I really want you guys to be mindful, and I want you guys to be aware of what it is that we're working with. Mercury retrograde is one thing. You guys, I feel like have known by now, especially if you're old to the Bahati Vibe tribe, I feel as though, and you've heard me say this many times, so you know I feel this way, that Mercury retrograde is not necessarily a bad thing. In fact, you know, it could really be good, but again, you have to know how to work with this energy and make it your bitch, so to speak. You have to know what it is that you're working with. That way you can maximize that. So for the most part, I feel like give me a thumbs up or give me some hearts if you guys can vibe with this. You pretty much know how to work with Mercury retrograde at this point. If you don't, I'm pretty sure about 2 or 3 videos detailing how to work with Mercury retrograde. So I don't want to, if you don't know, it's not that I'm ignoring you. It's just that I've said it a bunch of times and I don't want to spend this time repeating myself. I want to talk about the more serious things, things that I really want you guys to be aware of this week. Feel free to go ahead and grab some water, some ice water, some notes, like a pen and some paper so you can take notes if you need to. And I'm going to go ahead and break everything down for you. Okay. But This week, it's not all about, I feel like everyone knows me for giving positive. Okay, so we're getting a lot of hearts up. So yes, that's a lot of support with a lot of people saying that they know about the Mercury retrograde energy and how to work with it. Perfect. Perfect. Margaret says Mercury retrograde took my PC. Knocked it right out. Knocked it right out. I'm sorry to hear that, though. I didn't mean to laugh. I do have some cards pulled up too for that I wanted to share with you guys because I felt like I just had to do it. I felt like I had to share these cards with you. So, hey everyone on Instagram. By the way, if you are here, welcome. This is Astro Chat Live. Feel free to go ahead and navigate over to YouTube because that is where we are live. They have my full attention, my full priority right now. But also, I'm so glad to see you guys here. It's so dope. You guys can see my socks. How intimate. All right. So what's bothering me, not that it's bothering me, but a big red flag, and I didn't know that I was going to start off talking about this, but I feel very called to start off by talking about this, is not the fact that it's Mercury retrograde, but that's a component. There's a few things that are standing out to me within this chart. And by this chart, I mean the chart that we're all under right now, this umbrella effect. And it doesn't matter what your sun sign is. It doesn't matter what your rising sign is. However, it does help to pull up your chart or to know your chart so that you can dig a little deeper and see exactly how this is impacting you. But for the most part, this is a general reading and we're all blanketed underneath it. Anything that I say during this Astro Live chat is not my intention to freak anyone out. I just want to be full disclosured. I just want to put it all out there. The realms of deception this week specifically, and as we move into midweek, are so high, are so high, my loves. It is so high. And this is not a warning. Like, this is not me warning you and saying this to make you be on guard or to make you be defensive or to make you dig for things that, that you don't need to. In fact, if anything, I have a bug bite here on my leg. So if you guys see me scratching, it's because it literally bit me right before we went live. In fact, if there's one thing that is coming through to me this week that I was channeling, it's the fact that, like, you need to mind your business. And that seems like such a threat, but, like, you have to mind your own. And when I tell you this deception and what I've been picking up in this chart, it's not just what people say, it's what they're not saying. I'm getting a lot of what people are allowing themselves to receive. So let's say it's like a partnership, like a project that you're working with a boss or whatever, or your coworkers or your friends. You'll meet up with those people. Everything, it's like every almost thing back here that you wouldn't even know to ask of, or you wouldn't even think to ask, that they are not saying. In fact, I keep looking over my screen right now, and there's a book that says Lies My Teacher Told Me, and I just realized that it says lies. And, like, that's kind of the vibes that we're working with. It's like the things that it is that we don't say. Meanwhile, there's people who are receiving information or gathering information or collecting things and doing with it what they will. Now, there's a 50-50 energy here, where 50% of this energy, their intention is good. They're not doing it intentionally to hurt anyone. If anything, they would probably be doing it to protect, or they're just not ready. You have to keep in mind, back to Mercury retrograde. Mercury is retrograde right now in the realms of Pisces. And what happens is that people don't know what they're doing. They don't know what their intention is. They just are kind of feeling their way out. And I was talking about this last week, and I gave a little bit of warnings for this week, but we're going to talk about it in full disclosure this week, especially as we hit midweek. So it's some 50% of the people, their intentions are good. They're not, I want to say it's more than 50%. I want to say like 70% of the population, the intentions are good, other people, it's that 30% that it's like, okay, I'm going to say it. It's like Harvey Weinstein with his walker right now with the tennis balls on there. It's like, I don't know if you guys have seen that image lately, that imagery of him. He's in the courtrooms right now and getting hammered, which is so funny now that I look about it, because Justice Card and Hierophant. So I'm using him as an example, but the thing is that we're all under the same energy. So this energy will manifest in different ways. So I cannot say, because I don't know the man, I have my own beliefs and my own opinions on it, but that's not the point of this conversation. But I cannot say conclusively what is going on in his mind, what his intention is, because I am not him. But this exaggeration of things that someone could or could not be getting away with, and then this, I'm weak, I'm this, it's like, I'm vulnerable, I'm sick, I'm frail. It's a heightened representation. Let's say he is, because I heard that, this is just an example, you guys, but it's the perfect example because it's like literally in our media right now. But let's say he had like a condition or something, a heart condition, a heart attack, or something happened to him, in back surgery, whatever. So his condition might be ill, like he might be ill, but he is over exaggerating it in order to protect himself. And the intention is so that he doesn't get the full, I'm assuming, the full punishment of his actions. And these are the cards that as I pulled out. We're talking about Harvey Weinstein right now, but it literally is an example. So do you see how, you know, it's like, if there is a truth, something about that truth is off, it's wonky, and information is being fed out. It's being bled out. So knowing this, it is not your responsibility. I have to tell you guys this, because it's going to fuck some people up, but I'm not here to lie to anyone. I'm not here to say something, freak anyone out, and then be like, yeah, follow my YouTube channel, pay for this, pay for my services. If anything, if I can't do something, I refund it immediately. Like, it is not my intention to come on here and like profit off of this. I only will speak the truth, and it's never my intention to steer anyone in the wrong way. So as I'm saying this to you guys, my goal is to help their greatest life that they can imagine. I believe that everyone has certain things embedded in their heart. That being said, when I pull a chart like this and I see a chart like this, you cannot get derailed by the fuckery and the bullshit. That means that you can see something, see that there is something off by it, see that there is not all being said, something is hiding, someone is not telling the whole truth, and realize that it is not your responsibility to play a spy and to go digging to find out more information. Trust and believe that more information will reveal itself after Mercury goes direct. We have about 2 more weeks of this, 2.5 more weeks of this. You can wait. In the meantime, there's a high chance of deception and being deceived. That is not permission for you to derail off of your path and to spend more time trying to figure out the snake in the grass. The snake in the grass, your spirit guides, your angels, your guides are going to protect you. They're going to look out for you. They're the ones that are going to take care of everything for you. You have a path. You have a purpose. Now, this spiritual path, hear me when I say this. This spiritual path is not exclusively, when we say spiritual, we think, oh, this is me working on my intuition. This is me working on my meditation. This is me working on my gifts and me connecting with the divine. For some of you guys, that is going to be a priority. For me lately, that has been my priority. I can't tell you all of the stuff that's been going on in my personal life that have just been like little grenades, not bad things, but just like things people have said starting, and the things also that I have said, starting with Mercury retrograde, that I was just like, I didn't know. If any one of you guys in my personal life is watching this, don't think that you're the only one. Like, I hate when I go live and I'm like on social media and people that are in my personal life are like, oh, she's talking about me. Don't think you're the only one. No offense. No offense. I'm not going to paint a picture and pretend like anyone is. Anyways, That's just, I had to get that out. I had to say that for me. Like, I don't like it when people, like, in my personal life are like, oh, she's talking about me specifically. Debatable. Anyways, I'm getting these like messages from people, but I see it, but I am like, I cannot get derailed from what it is that I'm working on. I have to finish this task. I have to finish this project, meaning what it is that I'm working on. If it's it could be a physical project. Some of you guys are doing art stuff, or creative projects, or behind the scenes projects. Now would be a really good time if you guys want to work with this energy. If you have something to hide, go ahead and hide it. This would be a perfect time, and I'm not judging, and I don't know what's going on in your lives because I'm looking at a general chart. But if there's certain specific things that you wanted to hide, this would be a great week to do that. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. Some people are working on private projects, and not the whole world doesn't need to see them just now. Like, they can wait. They need to wait. So when certain things come in, or certain things are acting as distractions, you cannot allow yourself to get derailed and kind of you're doing such a good job, Miss Jessica. Thank you, sweetheart. I really appreciate that. When it comes to spiritual projects, you guys, or spiritual progression or spiritual path, I have to tell you that it's not just meditation, prayer, setting intentions, working your magic, prayer, I already said that, working with the divine. Although for a lot of you guys, that is a big aspect of your life. This is a spirituality community. Thank you, Eric, for protecting me, my love. I appreciate you so much. But this is a spiritual community, so a lot of us are doing spiritual work. But I need you to believe, and I need you to hear me, that it's not just the spiritual realms of your life. It's your personal life. It's your love life. It's your relationship with your children. It's your relationship with your family. That is a part of your spiritual work as well. So, and I want you guys to hear me when I say this, that because it's starting to get muggy. It's really starting to get discombobulated with people being like, oh, I'm doing my spiritual work, so I have to cancel out my love life. That's not important. That's not a priority. That some of you guys, your spiritual work is actually opening your heart up to receive love. And the thing is that, and then so I really want you guys to hear that it's like, if you're getting distracted by the bullshit and you're allowing yourself to feed into certain things that are distraction. Even I did some, like, had a conversation earlier today, and it's like I went on YouTube, and just by default, someone says I'm being called out. That's so funny. Just by default, there's a lot of intuitive messages that are on there. I usually use my YouTube channel to look at like Lovely T. I love her channel. Cause she says she's really, I think she's a Christian, but she's on it. She's very intuitive. She's got some very intuitive, and like, I'll feel something, and like, maybe like 24 hours later, she'll make a video on it. She's faster than I would ever be, but I'm very cautious about what I say, because I don't want to create like panic, especially not to my tribe, especially when it comes to the coronavirus. That's something they're not saying everything with that, but we're not talking about that today. We're talking about what's going on here. But trust and believe, there's going to be more information, but it's slipping out. That's the thing too, you guys. Mark my words, when it comes to the coronavirus, the next Mercury Retrograde only just recently started. There's going to be information that's going to be slipping out accidentally. Things that people say, they're like, oh, I shouldn't have said that. Or information that they're like, oh, shit. There's going to be more information now that's bleeding out. That is like, if you just peel back the layers, if you ask the right questions, what just came through to me is the truth will prevail. I truly believe that. And as I'm saying that now, that's what this card is here. The Justice card and the Hierophant. I'm getting this huge sense that it's not for us. It's good to ask questions, but let people fuck themselves up. Like, that's the thing. Like, if you know the right things to say, and if you're transparent, if you're honest, if you're speaking your truth, give it time, and people will mess their own selves up. They will trip over their own feet. That's what I'm seeing right now. Give it time. It is not your responsibility to chase after or to stay focused, to stay from a heightened perspective. Why am I saying this? Well, because of the chart, but more specifically, Mercury retrograde, but Neptune in Pisces. I've been talking about this for a minute. And I don't feel like we're talking about this enough, but it's an explosion. I don't know if I heard anyone else talking about it, but it's an explosion of information, especially in the spiritual realms, when it comes to intuition, when it comes to healing, when it comes to compassion, when it comes to release, when it comes to surrendering, when it comes to like the psyche, psychological, our fears, like our worst fears. And then when that happens, when those things are sparked, out of the woodwork comes messy people who have good intentions but can steer things the wrong way. And it's like you have to be very careful about what it is that you're digesting, what information you're allowing to come in to bleed into your being. This is why I'm saying mind your business. You don't need, if you are sitting at your altar, or if you're going for a bike ride, or if you're living your life and you have a divine intervention, you have a divinely appointed idea, do not confirm this idea with anyone else. Not your friends, not your family, not your husband, not your wife. You have to, unless there's someone that is going to hold it and keep it protected. They're going to protect it and make sure that, they're going to feed into it. They're not going to take away from it. The reason why is because if there's one, it's such a vulnerable space right now. Like all of us, it doesn't matter. Some of you guys can be weepy. Some of you guys could be highly sensitized, very sensitive, very emotional, having conversations, and others of you don't feel it in the same way. Others of you don't feel it like in the same emotional way. But you're still you still have to be very conscious and aware. Like it can still bleed into your spirit. So you take what you've received, you take those messages, you take that information, you take those ideas, you take your purpose, and you follow your heart, and you block out all of the noise, and you continue moving forward. So don't check in with what other readers are saying unless it's like you feel called to do it, because it's it's noise, you guys. It's one tiny comment. It's one thing someone says. That can derail you and make you forget. It makes you like lose your faith and stop believing in your original thought that was given to you by the divine, that was downloaded to you from the planets, that was given to you like cosmically, whatever it is that you believe it is. That's why I'm like, journaling is everything. If you want to journal, you want to take the time out. Too many, like now, this is when you use water, you sit in the bathtub, you go to the hot tub, you go to the ocean, you go to the river, you go to the lake. Alcohol and those types of substances, you have to really kind of navigate and know yourself. Some of you guys are going to be drawn to smoking weed or taking ecstasy or something like that. I don't personally support this, and YouTube will kick me out like immediately, like if I even talk about drugs. But Pisces, Neptune in Pisces has a tendency to draw people to alcohol, to substances and stuff like that. Know yourself. I personally don't. I've always felt personally that was a little bit of a shortcut, but that was because I did the work myself. Let's say you guys are so prone to shuffling the tarot. You shuffle the tarot for everything. Oh, look at that, 6 of Cups. That makes a lot of sense. But let's say you're prone to shuffling the tarot for everything. It is so important that you mind your business. That means that if you are in your meditative space, if you are focusing on your job, whatever your job is, and that I'm not talking about career unless that's something that you need to focus on. Let's say it's your relationship. Let's say it's your soulmate. When I tell you guys, there is such a major shift starting. It's been happening for a minute, but it's like in the works now. We're talking about when Jupiter moves into the sign of Capricorn, when Pluto has been moving to the sign of Capricorn, Saturn moving to the sign of Capricorn. This has been creating breakdowns in all in the world that is that we know it. people have been losing their fucking minds thinking that this is the end of the world. And essentially, yes, it is. But nothing is ever an ending. It just flips over into another cycle. It flips over into a newness. There have been people whose lives have been lost. I've had that prediction before the World Trade Centers hit. And then the World Trade Centers hit. There are people whose lives have been lost, but it's not, I don't want to say it's not in vain. I'm not taking away from the suffering, but that's the times that we're in right now. And I say it not to freak anyone out, but to say that there is a new ushering of people coming in. And that's the way that life is. That's always how the cycles are. There's always like a kind of bit of a wipeout, and then something comes in and repopulates it. That's where we're at right now. Sorry, I got distracted. That's where we're at right now. So don't freak out at the fact that the world as we know it is ending. Realize, get excited, and do the fucking work. Like, do the spiritual work, because there is a new generation that has to get ushered in. And it's because of the generational curses that you, that me, that Ellie Doll XO, that Sagan have been working to, and all of us in the Bahati Vibe tribe. It's no coincidence that we are in a space right now where all of us are becoming more and more enlightened. More and more of us are trying to do the work. More and more of us are talking about being woke or striving to be woke. Most of us, I want to believe that we're doing the work, because if you weren't here right now, you wouldn't be doing the work. You wouldn't be listening to this Astro Live chat if you weren't doing the work. So what happens is that these generational curses, we cannot bring this next generation in. This is the first generation that is going to operate my generation. No offense to those before me, but I'm just speaking facts here. Thank you to those who paved the way. But now it's the 30-year-old and then to come. This generation is learning compassion, forgiveness, love, unlike any other. We have so much expression, you guys. We are we look at it's kind of like a double-edged sword, because we look at it and we're like, why are we so sensitive? Because we were not allowed to be sensitive. The generations before this were so freaking hardened. They were so hardened. So what happens is that it doesn't end with with this generation. It isn't the end of the world and poof, that's it. This generation comes together. We're focusing on soulmates. We're focusing on soul work. We're trying to find our match. We're trying to become our highest and best selves. We want more for ourselves. We're not marrying and procreating from a lower vibration. We're procreating from a higher vibration. We want more for ourselves. What generation before was asking more for themselves? And now you find those partnerships. You start doing the spiritual work, and then you procreate. And it's not just male. And those children, whether they're adopted in from other families that were birthed in, and those families couldn't take care of them for whatever reason, they get adopted into those beautiful, loving families that support them, that speak life into them, and they speak life into the next generation. It keeps going. So don't be afraid when you hear these end times. These times needed to end. They've been needed to end. That curse ends with them, and it continues. And this new life, this new love, this compassion, this understanding, it starts with us and it bleeds into the generation after that. So it is so imperative, you guys, that you do your soul work. It is so imperative that you don't get distracted by the bullshit. If someone in your life is lying to you, deceiving you, not telling you everything, that is their karma. They will catch up. Pray for them or set intention for them that they catch up. It is never my intention to say to anyone, I'm like, I wish ill over you, unless they wish ill over me. I believe, from my spiritual practice, I believe in karma. I believe in law and order. I believe in cause and effect. And by that, I mean the justice card. That means fuck with me, and I'm going to sick my spirit guides on you. Trust and believe. Because you think I'm going to fall back and be a pushover and allow someone to threaten my energy and my purpose and my destiny and my children's life and my family's life and my future? Absolutely not. that ended before. I live my life. I live my truth. And if someone or something threatens that, payback, it's karma. And I believe that. I'm not afraid of that. You deserved it. If I come from positive intention and I come from good vibes, and my intention is to speak good and to lift other people up, and you try to hurt me, harm me, hold me back, you have every right to receive the karma, the backlash that is coming your way. And I pray for mercy. I pray for mercy, but I want you to learn. And I don't want anyone to pull me down. Why? I have a purpose. Why? I have good intention. Why? My heart is good. Why? My heart is pure. So if you have ill will and evil in your heart towards me, I have no fear in setting that right around. That is the wheel of fortune. What goes around comes around. And it's also karma and justice. You got what you deserved because I wasn't fucking with you and you fucked with me. And do not feel afraid to say the same thing for yourself. And it is not your job or my job to deal out the karma, although I will sick it on you. Do you see what I'm saying? So that's the energy that we're working with. And I'm not triggered, you guys. I'm just reading the chart. I don't want anyone to look at this chart and be like, or look at me and be like, oh, Jess is having a bad day. I'm having an amazing day. I'm having an amazing day. Everything is good. I'm just telling you the truth, and I need to get my point across, right? So let's say, this is what I'm saying, is that you're not a victim by not having to deal with it yourself, like not putting your hands and be like, okay, well, why is this person not telling me everything? That is not my job to figure out the mechanisms of what's going on in your brain. And it is not your job to find out the mechanisms of what's going on in their brain to make them do the dumb shit that they're doing, or why they're not telling you everything. Everything will come out in the wash later on. It is your job to do your job. And if anything fucks with you along the way, then it is okay and right for you to be like, this is not okay. I did not deserve that. Universe, step forward. Ancestors, step forward. Take care of it for me, because I have a purpose. I have a destiny. I have things that I need to fulfill. I have a message that I need to share. I have 951 people on my Astro Chat Live that need to receive this message because they need to deal with their own stuff within their own lives. And this is going to carry them through their week. So that's what it is that we're dealing with right now, you guys. And I wanted to talk to you. Do not get dismayed. Do not get disappointed. Do not get disillusioned. Do not get distracted. Do not deviate from your path. You have a soul path. You just are coming out of the new moon. That was last night? I can't even remember. All the days blended into one. But the same things that it is that you're setting intention for, that you're asking spirit to give you, it is there for you to receive it. Even as I said that, Nicole Carson says, I received this message. I feel that you received that. Like I feel it 1000%. Like we said it, I read that and the same time I said it. There's so much that you guys are receiving. Nicole just said it. There is so much for you to receive. It is the same things that you are trying to manifest, that you are setting intention for, are the same things that are part of your job and a part of your purpose, that it's not a coincidence. There's a reason why you're asking for more money. There's a reason why you're asking for a job with purpose. There's a reason why your current career doesn't serve you. It takes away your light. It doesn't give you life. There's a reason why your friendships feel draining to you. There's a reason why you can't fuck with them anymore. There's a reason why you guys don't get along. There's a reason why they're irritating. There's a reason why your family doesn't, there's no communication. There's a reason why there is communication. There's a reason why the dynamics are changing. There's a reason why you want more for yourself, because you need to, that's your job. That's your spiritual work. It is good and right and encouraged by the universe to ask, and by the divine, to ask for these things that you need, because you need it to fulfill your job, to fulfill your destiny. You cannot do it alone. If you're asking for partnership, make sure that you're not lying to yourself by asking for the wrong partnership. Some of you guys are filling in and plugging in the holes of wounds, and you're holding on to things because that's a lot. You're holding on to the hurt and the ache of certain things because that's all that's left. That person has left. Let's say it's father issues, mother issues, family issues, and you're holding on to this thing that hurts you. it's a gone memory. It happened years ago, but you're holding on to it because it's the only fucking thing that's left. Heal it. Heal it. Let it go. Release it. Surrender it. And realize that there is so much out there for you. You were not created and born into this world to suffer. And the moments that you did suffer, it literally was there to prove a lesson, to be a part of the testimony, to the journey, because every single one of us is a spiritual teacher of some shape, some form. Every single one of us has a lesson to give. But the way to get that lesson and to receive that lesson and to master that lesson is to stop fucking running away from it. Stop running from it. Embrace it. Accept it. Journal it. That requires that some of you guys are in isolation. Some of you guys have to step out in faith. Some of you guys have been operating from fear, and it makes sense that you would. It logically makes sense for you to have fear because of what all that has happened before that. How could you not have fear? But let your faith be bigger than your fear and faith in what is to come. And have faith in yourself. Have faith in your prophecy. You guys are channeling shit and channeling, having visions, because it's like all of this is, you're literally awakening. Like you truly, like literally and figuratively and metaphorically, you are awakening. You're awakening. It is a birth. In your personal lives, there is a crushing that happens. It could be a relationship. It could be a marriage. It is not a failure. It is not a failure. In fact, it was Eric. I was talking to Eric earlier today. I love you, boo. Eric is my friend. He said something earlier today before I even went live. We were just chit-chatting. And he was like, that is a win. Like, that's it. He's like, I see that as a win. And he was telling me something that he was going through. And I was like, that is a win. So find people. And the reason why I say this is because it's those moments. It seems it's the small things, you guys. Like, it is the small things. That's something that I'm realizing, that I'm recognizing, is that, and I'm seeing it now in my clients and people around me. Sometimes we expect this big elaborate display and we're like, now I won. But it's those small moments that are sometimes the most significant, the most meaningful. And I feel like someone over here on Instagram needs to hear that. It's the small moments. It's like you're looking for a really big sign to be like, she won or he won, or this is it. Like, you close that chapter. I don't see it as a big elaborate display. It's something small. It seems tiny. It's significant. That was your win. And I'm getting a sense that this is not coming from the chart. This is coming from my spirit. I feel this like a resounding truth. It's the small wins. You have to celebrate that small win, because it's not small at all. It seems like it's small. It seems like it's insignificant. It's maybe something that you had to say to someone, something that you didn't say to someone that you would normally say to someone, something, a choice, a decision that you made. It's those small things. And it's like you show up. If you're being called right now, you're being guided to show up with the small thing. It's a small, like almost, what's coming through is like a random act of kindness, but it's not. Like, it's a random act of faith. It's a random act, it almost reminds me of tithing. Like, I think they give like 10% or 13%. I don't know the percentage, but it seems small, but it's so significant. It's a sacrifice, but it's a win. Yeah, She Wolf Living says something so tiny that changed the energy of my house. Yeah. I really, really feel that. I want to talk about this crushing blow. Because that's what it feels like. It feels like a crushing blow. And even as I say that, I'm looking down at the 10 of Wands here. This is how you guys know. I'm not flicking you guys off, I promise. But this is how you guys know I've been grinding, because I have a broken nail here. And I'm just like, that's fine. That's not even important. I've got messages. I got work to do. I got things to do. I got things to say. I literally, like, if you see this middle finger missing, that literally is a win. because that shows you like my priorities are sharp, honey. Like I am sharp. We are moving. This would derail me. This is a distraction to get this fixed. This is my small win. It seems like a failure. It seems like, oh, she's not taking care of herself. No. It's never what it is that we see. It never is what it is that it seems. That's what I'm getting. Like, that's really what it is that I'm getting. So sometimes that like, it's like a deception. Like we think like this win, this reward, this gain, it's going to come through this way. And it could be something as insignificant and meaningless as what would seem to be meaningless as this finger missing a nail. Because people would be like, in our logical minds would be like, oh, well, if Jess was taking care of herself, then she would have had her nails done. It's like, well, maybe me getting my nails done felt like an obligation. And the fact that I didn't get that nail done, like, do you see what it is that I'm saying? Like, it could be so insignificant, but it's meaningful. It has a purpose. It has a reason. I want to move forward. I want to talk about this crushing energy. If you see me looking down, I'm looking at the chart. So basically how astrology works for me and how the planets work for me in symbols is that I will see a symbol, I will see a something, and it will trigger a something. It can trigger a quote, it can trigger a song, it can trigger a sense, a feeling, a vision. And as I was looking down, I'm looking at Mars moving through Capricorn right now. I'm looking at Jupiter, and I'm looking at the vertex point. Something about Mars right now being at 5 degrees. Well, there it is. 5 degrees sitting directly opposite of the North Node at 6 degrees in Cancer. This feels crushing. Everyone, now that I'm saying this makes a lot of sense. So a lot of people they demonize the South Node. They say, well, the South Node, like if the North Node is where it is that we're striving to be within this life, then if we're striving towards the North Node, then it must be bad for me to look at the South. It must be bad for me to take steps back, because our brains, Empress Frequency says this message is so powerful. Thank you. Thank you so much for the super chat. I really appreciate that. And I love the 777. That means a lot to me. So, and I love that trine. But our brains are so linear thinking. Like we think that if we're moving forward, then we must be moving straight, because the human language is so limited. And that's when things start getting wonky. And I know this because I'm ruled by Mercury. I'm a Virgo, and I work with signs. I work with messages. I work with language. And I work with the things that it is I hear and things that it is I see, and then I dissect it. That's what. And then if you look at my chart, I'm quote unquote messenger of the gods, which means that I take my messages that I've received, I download, I dissect them, and then I share them, my message, very particularly and very specifically with the world. Not in a way that's loud, because that's not. I just feel like so messed up. How's it going over here on Instagram? I'm just going to pause for a second. I promise I'll be back. I'm just looking at my YouTube thing is getting wonky. How's it going on Instagram? Let's see who we have here. If you guys, if it gets wonky on YouTube, just realize that you can catch it on the flip side. Blessed Energy says, is there a is that a new haircut? If so, work it, honey. No, my hair's just back in a ponytail. Marissa gave me just super chat for $9.99, and I love that $9.99 and the rainbow and the diamond. I look cute. Let's come through. Let's talk about words though, right? Let's say we have the word love. So we're like, oh, okay, I know what that means. But you guys, there's different types of love. Like there's love that you feel for your mother and your father. There's love that you feel for your friends. There's love that you feel for your partner, but we're all working with one word. The same thing is true with forward. We're moving forward. Forward means, okay, I'm going to keep going in this direction. But so our brains think that if I have to move forward and this is my purpose and my destiny, then I'm no longer moving forward if I look back, because that's backwards. So this is when words are getting things twisted and messed up. However, when it comes to the North Node and the South Node, it's not that you're, thank you so much for the super chat, my love. It's not that you, like, it's not that, like, we're striving, like, this is the lesson, the greatest lesson that we have to learn in our lives, what we set our sights towards, what we want to master within this life. But it's not bad what the South Node provided for us in our past lives, in our past experience, in our past memories. Whether you believe in past lives or you don't believe in past lives, it's those past memories, those patterns, those things that it is that you've experienced, who have passed on at a round table and telling them that their stories and their lessons that they have mastered and that they've spent their entire life going through were insignificant and meaningless because you have your own lessons to learn. So this just goes to show you guys that everything serves a purpose, and it is not, I don't want you guys to ignore the energy of the South Node because you're focusing so securely on the North Node. Looking backwards does not mean that you are not simultaneously moving forward, and being still does not mean that you're not progressing. All of those things are very important. They're very equal. That's all about the balance. So when I'm looking at Mars right now, it's only going to get quote unquote worse, which means that this energy is only going to intensify. Mars is sitting in Saturn. Saturn feels like crushing weight. I'm sorry, I said Saturn. Mars is sitting in Saturn. Mars is sitting in Capricorn, which is ruled by Saturn. And Saturn's energy can crush. The thing is that Mars is exalted in the sign of Capricorn. So basically, Mars is feeling like, I can do, not that I can do whatever it is that I want, but it's like, who's going to stop me? And that can be quite the problem. That can be a little bit of a problem. So this crushing weight that comes through, you guys, there's two sides to this. And this is why I want you guys to stay on track. I want you to stay on target. I want you to stay focused. I don't want you to get derailed by the bullshit. I don't want you to make the same mistakes of the past. In fact, you will sense it. You will sense that something is wrong, and you will expect to be triggered by it. Expect to be like, this ain't right. I don't like that. Expect it, but don't fall victim to it, and don't make yourself a victim. For example, let's say you know that someone is lying to you, or something isn't right. Like, you know something is cheating or something is weird. And you'll say it, you'll be like, something isn't right here. I feel it immediately. Old version of you might be triggered by it and might emotionally react because they're triggered. You react to it. So that means that you might get in someone's face, you might get in a fight, you might get distracted, you might go talk to your friends and say like, oh no, like, you won't believe what it is, and it turns into gossip. That could be 3 hours or 4 hours, because that's how long it can really be, where you could be focusing your time and attention on the derailment. And it's really easy to be like, oh, well, I'm going to take care of this. That is not your journey. That is not your destiny. That is not what you should be focusing on. You have derailed. Come back to focus. It is easy to fall back into these old patterns, but it's not bad to observe that pattern and be like, I don't want to repeat this. I've learned this. I've experienced this. I've felt this before. Maybe in this life or in another life. It's familiar to me. And I'm not going to take a step back and repeat that same energy, because it is my goal to move forward. It is my goal to progress. It is my goal to evolve. But it's not a bad thing to look at the Mars, especially now. I wish I could show you guys this chart without it blanking out. So we have the North Node right chon, and then we have Mars right chon. Right? So the North Node is sitting in the sign of Cancer. This is the last thing that I'm going to say because we're nearing an hour. So we have the North Node falling in the sign of Cancer, and we have the South Node in Capricorn. Capricorn energy is, and don't get me wrong, I was just talking to one of my favorite Capricorns earlier today. Oh my God, Biza, you're here. I have to text you. I will. Okay. Someone also said, how big is your ass? Not big at all. In fact, some would say I have a back with a crack. I know. Thank you, Eric, so much for blocking that bullshit. But that I had to. It is what it is. Okay. I got distracted. Thank you, Eric and Mel for blocking that. But okay, but we're back on track. Okay, so don't get me wrong, Capricorn energy is low key, high key, one of my favorite signs next to Virgo. I fucks with Capricorn energy hard on name. Like, wait, I gotta go. If you're here, navigate over to YouTube. And then because you guys are gonna get canceled out, and I want to save this live chat for other people. Okay, shared a story. Perfect. If I don't share the story, you guys, when I tell you that thing, Instagram will be like, meh, wasn't important. Didn't share it. Don't care. Anyways, so Capricorn energy is very dry. It's barren. It's stoic. It's solid. It's unmoving. It's relentless. It's committed. It's stable. And that's good and bad. Like, it depends on what is that we're working. It depends on what is that we're working with. But the thing is that Jupiter, Pluto, Saturn, Mars, now the south node are in the sign of Capricorn. And this shows me so much, and shows every single one of us, that Capricorn energy right now, whatever this thing is, it needs to be nourished so badly. If you have concrete world that you're living in, or this area of your life is like concrete, or this person is like concrete, you have to water it. Like, you have to water it. You have to give it sunlight. You have to protect it. You have to nourish it. You cannot beat concrete with more concrete. In fact, to take a step back and to be soft, to be gentle, to water it, to give it water, to give it life, to give it sunlight, that is the only way to break up the concrete. Think about the cycles in our lives where you have a house that's built with stone or brick or wood or whatever. It's the plants that are just effortlessly growing over time, that are just doing what they do. A little bit of rainwater, a little bit of sunlight, and it cracks up the concrete easily and effortlessly. The same thing with salt. You put that salt in, like you sprinkle salt on concrete and it gets wet or it gets frozen, that salt expands. I don't know the logistics of it. I just remember that I used to sprinkle salt in my dad's garage. And he used to tell me to stop doing that because it would break the concrete up and it would mess up the garage. And he said, stop doing that. And I was just like, okay, Dad. And I didn't hear him. And then he got mad at me, which is like the only time my dad ever really got mad at me that I can think of. But anyways, the point of me saying this is that if we have South Node, all this energy with Capricorn, the way to combat this and to work with this is to not be abrasive, to not be so solid and so regimented and so regulated and be like, I'm strong. I don't need anyone. I don't need anything. I don't need you. I don't have a heart. I can't show my emotion. I can't show my tears. That's what is going to be the groundbreaking moment. It's not about forcing it. It's not about fighting. It's not about punching your way through. It's the fact that you don't have to do that. Oh, thank you so much, Allie Cat. She said, Jess, why are you so freaking gorgeous? I don't know. Thank you, though. I really appreciate that. With the North Node in Cancer, you guys have to understand that the planets and the cosmos right now are trying to bring you to the space that it is that you belong, something that you might not normally be accustomed to. You might be used to doing things all by yourself, all on your own. You might have no one supporting you. You might have a few people nurturing you and supporting you, but still you have to take responsibility and you still have to do it yourself because it's your job. It's not, if it's your job to do, no one else can do that job but you. You have to take care of yourself, and you also have to realize that other people have to take care of themselves. But you can also encourage each other, lift each other up, Be soft with each other, nurture yourself, give to yourself, water yourself, rest, be easy on yourself, stop beating yourself up. Some of you guys are harder on yourself than your own enemies. You are your own enemy with how you talk to yourself, with how you perceive yourself, how you look at yourself, how you treat yourself. Why are you treating yourself that way? Why are you talking to yourself like that? You wouldn't say that to anyone else. Your inner child, your inner self is listening to you and trying to figure out, should I believe what you're saying to me? The whole world could be against you. Don't be a part of the rest of the world saying that you can't do it. So this weight, you guys, it feels very crushing. That's why I said it was it's a crushing blow, which means that some of you guys are really trying to hide and run from, and it depends on your sun sign, it depends on your rising sign. Some of you guys are filling up these gaps with travel, with spontaneity. I'm so spontaneous, like that energy of, oh, someone says, where is Franklin? Can we see his cute little face before you close out? Absolutely. Come, Babaloo. He might be taking a nap. Franklin. Anyways, some of you guys might, I'll get him, or he'll come. But some of you guys might be plugging up that hardness with things because you're running away from it instead of embracing it, nurturing it, spending time with it, realizing that you don't have all the answers, realizing that the more that you pretend like you're hard and you don't need anyone or you don't need anything is more detrimental to you and everyone else. You're not doing anyone any justice or anyone any service. Is that the right word? By pretending like you're hard. Oh, I'm strong. I don't need this. That didn't affect me. Yes, it did. The fact that you're spending so much time running away from it shows me how much it affected you, because you're spending all of this time trying to escape from that. Instead of you living out your purpose, you've allowed this bullshit to control you, to control your actions. You're investing in it, not even realizing that your money, your resources, all of your effort, your time, your attention is going into plugging in these holes. That's how I know it impacts you. So instead of pretending like it doesn't exist and pretending like you're hard body and you're solid and you don't need anyone or you're not impacted by it, why don't you just embrace the fact that it has and then heal from it instead of running? Franklin, come here. Anyways, my loves, so with this week, we have a lot going on. I'm just going to summarize things. Hi, baby. Are you okay? Say hi to everybody. You just had a nappy. Say hi to everyone. You so happy to be here? Yes, I know. Okay, so on the 26th, Sun conjunct Mercury. For something about this is kind of giving me a little bit of a problem child energy. Usually what happens with Sun conjunct Mercury is it could bring really good ideas, really good conversations, but I just want you guys to be aware, and I want you guys to be observant, and I want you guys to not get derailed. If you hear something, you receive information or receive news, I want you to strive for more, strive for better. I want you to set high intentions. I want you to speak life over yourself. I want you to speak life over each other. 26, I promise you guys, if you look anywhere on the internet, Sun conjunct Mercury, it doesn't have a bad reputation, but you guys have to understand that when I do astrology charts and I do these readings, it's not just that one transit, it's the entire chart. And I'm looking at the entire chart, and I think that there's information that could be a problem child, but it's just, you have the key. So if you know that, I don't want you to fall victim and be like, okay, this is it. This is all it can be. This is everything. I want you to be like, I want more. I want more. I'm speaking more. I'm speaking from my heart. I'm speaking the truth. I'm speaking with compassion. I'm speaking with understanding. And I'm going to take this to the next level. Right, Bubba? Look how he's like holding on. He's just like so cute. You don't have to give me kisses, Bob. So cute. I just adore you. Are you going to yawn? Are you going to show the people how cute you're yawning? Like yawns in like threes. Okay, I'm getting distracted. Okay, anyways, yeah, so on the 28th, we have Venus square Pluto. Venus square Pluto, and that normally is funny to me because normally that can be a problem, but I'm actually seeing that it's just enough pressure to create a change. So mark you guys' calendars for that time. However, if you feel provoked to start a fight with someone, don't do it. I believe that everything happens for a reason. I don't think that we should be using the planets in a way to manipulate anyone, although it's possible. With Venus square Pluto, it can be like it can create breakup, like it can create tension, it can create issues. There's the yawn. New haircut, to change your appearance in any drastic way. If you haven't done it before, it's not recommended right now. Someone says, what day? The 28th. Keep in mind that that's when it's exact. It's all of this week. I just feel like it needs a disclaimer. It needs like caution, live wire. Don't touch this wire. It's unpredictable. Okay. And then the 29th and the 3rd, which is next week, but it's the energy is going to influence us this weekend, with Venus square Saturn. Thank you so much, my love. So good to see you again. I appreciate that live chat or super chat. With Saturn square Venus, again, this is just enough pressure to push, and to get, like, I don't want to say an answer, but to kind of push. And sometimes discomfort is good. Let's say, Mercury, and the reason why I'm saying this is because, and I want you guys to hear me. So when we have transits like this with Venus square Pluto, Venus square Saturn, people can get concerned because they're like, oh, the relationship could break up. But the thing is that when you have when you have Mercury retrograde in the sign of Pisces, doing what it is that it's doing, these are issues that it's like, we should probably have talked about this like a long time ago. These are things that have been lies. These are things that we have been hiding. These are truths that we've been afraid to share. So when this happens this week, if there's tension, it's not your job to fix it. It's your job to be like, this is uncomfortable for me, and I don't want to live the rest of my life or move forward with this project or move forward in this direction, carrying the weight, and the scales want to be fixed here. So sometimes if it's a breakup or a breakdown, was it bad? Some people need to feel uncomfortable in order to create a change. On that note, you guys, let me just show you the cards that I pulled. This Hierophant here and the Justice card, to me, this just reads the system. This is the system. This is the workings. This is our government, business, and then we're going to close out. How the system is. Let's say someone said that's with the husband and I. Let's say the system is your marriage. Let's say it always looks this way. Something about this, it's like changing, it's evolving, it's switching. We have the Wheel of Fortune here. This is not about things always changing for the better. It's talking about fate. It's talking about karma. Now that we're here, what are you going to do? Now that you know all of these things, what are you going to do? If you've been shouldering the burden, if you've been doing the most, if you've been doing your work, you have to ask yourself at this point, do I allow myself to get derailed? Is it worth me carrying it to the finish line? Is it worth me carrying it? Does this have value to me? If not, then I need to really question my commitments. I need to question my bonds and decide how much more do I want to feed into this and give into this? And how much more should I be asking for? How much more should I be receiving? Especially with the new moon in Pisces. These are intentions that are trying to seed themselves. They're trying to grow. They're trying to really dive in and like make substance and abundance in your life and blessings in your life. But you can't do that if you're maintaining in the status quo. It's at this point, at the Hierophant and with the Justice card and the Wheel of Fortune, that says, this is karma, especially with the South Node being activated. This is karma. What are you going to do? Are you going to accept less? Are you going to, if someone confronts you and needs to have a heart-to-heart conversation with you, are you going to lie and stop telling them your feelings? Stop telling them your truth? Stop telling them your needs and your wants and your desires, no matter how fucking fearful you are, no matter how vulnerable you are? Your knees could be shaking. Your hands could be shaking. Your knees could be buckling, and you still should have the conversation. We have the Queen of Wands here. This is the card of independence. It's the card of life, vitality, strength, and passion. That's in every single one of us. Every single one of us has a purpose, a destiny. I don't care if you're an air sign, a fire sign, an earth sign, or a water sign. You have the Queen of Wands in you. I don't care if you're a male or a female or whatever it is that you identify as. You're the Queen of Wands. Know your worth, know your purpose, know your destiny. Hold on to that vision and don't settle for less or feed into things that don't have no intention of feeding into you, especially if it's not a part of your spiritual journey, especially if it's not of your spiritual purpose. On that note, you guys, I'm gonna head out. I love you so much. I send you guys so much love. He's like, who you saying that you love? Look at his face. I love you guys so much. Definitely be safe. Sonic the Hedgehog says, please tell me you're not gay. What difference would it make if I was or I wasn't? But I'm straight, but I believe in love. Shout out to whoever put the hashtag 1122. How did you know that that's my power number? That's really significant and meaningful to me. Thank you for sending that. Yeah, I believe that love is love, and I don't think that, you know, I've always felt that way. Oh, 888. What else was I going to say? You guys be safe. Take care of your physical body. Take care of your emotional body. You know, I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but things are crazy right now. Like even I'm watching. Oh, okay. Because I saw 1122 again. I'm watching Mardi Gras and just people getting crushed and run over and slipping. It's messy, messy, messy. And that literally is, you just have to be really safe. Just be really safe. Take care of yourself. Yeah. I love you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel, go ahead and do that. I go live usually every Monday. And we just break it down. And honestly, it's an honor. I'm seeing the numbers growing. And I love the fact that I'm able to speak from an authentic space. I don't have to get caught up in what's trending in order for me to do my work. That is the biggest honor. That is the biggest blessing. Oh, look at that. Go celebrate, have fun, live your life. Right after I said be careful. You can have fun and be careful at the same time. I'll see you guys next live chat. I will talk to you guys later. Bye.